What's up, you guys? Okay, once again, doing a big experiment for myself. First time ever in the 55 years I've been alive that I am going to be doing a deadlift with orthotic insoles placed inside my Vivobarefoot Motus Strength shoes. So Motus Strength is Vivobarefoot's version of a weightlifting shoe. Okay, so this shoe has a $10 Walmart orthotic that is supporting my arch and preventing my ankles from pronating, because I've been wearing this thing for 5 days now, and these inserts have done more to relieve pain off my knees, my ankles, my everywhere. Even my shoulders are looser. So I want to see how these work on a super narrow stance snatch grip deadlift. I'm choosing the narrow stance deadlift because it quickly pushes me into my dorsiflexion, my knee flexion, my hip flexion, and the wide grip requires the longest distance travel. Also, this wider grip will challenge my back, shoulders, and neck in a different way. That is always kind of fun. All right, so this is 95 pounds. Let's just, I have not warmed up. There's no warm up before this. And I'm gonna get down here. All right, so down here, I am gonna focus on lifting my chest, not this bar. I wanna make sure I'm trying to get my weight over the apex of my arches, so I'm neither heel-based nor toe-based. Here we go. Felt good. Okay, so, you know, I'm 55 years old. I grew up in Hawaii. For almost all the years of my life, I have lived barefoot and even shirtless. I mean, if you ask my neighbors, anyone that knows me at home, I'm usually just barefoot and like this. This is how I roll all the time since I was a little kid. So I guess in that regard, I haven't really grown up. But telling you that because over the last 2 or 3 years, you might have heard me talking about this on other videos, but my knees, my ankles, everything's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And we can talk about all the other variables, but in the last 5 days that I've been wearing these cheapy insoles in all my barefoot shoes, I have never felt better in a long time. Here we go, 115. So again, I'm testing a very narrow stance because normally if I'm just normally without any inserts or the shoes didn't matter because my feet would still easily pronate inside the barefoot shoes without the arch support. So I was still getting the same problem. They just protected the soles of my feet from other things. But that feels pretty good. Yeah. I am not getting that. Here's something I've learned. I was very stubbornly against things like orthotics and arch supports because of the argument that they actually end up weakening the feet. And, you know, just in the 5 days I've been wearing them, number one, I consider myself at this point injured, at least on the inner ankles, because my arches have been, or my feet have been collapsing inwards, which has been stretching the tendons and ligaments on the inner ankle for so long and so acutely that they are now very inflamed and both sides are swollen. The only thing that's good about that is that they are symmetrically swollen, because I do obsess over the way I allow stress to enter my body. I try to be as equal and bilateral as I can be. But regardless, pronation is not good for any reason, and my stubborn insistence on just basically being a tough guy or having, like, you know, strong feet, that was a little foolish, I have to admit. I'm gonna go one more time here. This is 135. Real close. All right. Feels good. But if I'm being honest, even with my flat feet pronating, collapsing inwards, this is not enough weight to really bring a problem. So, but that does feel much more stable. And here's another thing I just had to take into account. As a trainer, I've been working in this little room here for over 20 years with my clients. And these are hard rubber floors. And the human foot was never. We didn't evolve on hard, level, even flooring like this. So it's kind of, to me, it's a little aberrant to fault anyone's foot for not adapting to these surfaces, which never occurred naturally when we were evolving on this planet. All right, here we go. All right, 155. In case you're wondering, when I warm up, I don't really spend a lot of energy on it. My warm-ups tend to be a graduated, I should say, I start light, and I just add a little weight. But I only do 1 or 2 reps, and then I add a little bit more weight. So in that sense, it's graduated. But anyway, going back to, you know, standing on these hard floors, and then at home we have hardwood floors. And then when I do my workouts outside, I'm standing on not just a concrete slab, but it's elevated at about 3 degrees upslope. So I guess over the course of 55 years, my flat feet, which have worked very hard for me, they're calling in their markers now. All right, so 185. God, this feels weird. All right, here we go. That lowering part is normally, especially on my left outer knee, that is normally where I would be feeling a little uncomfortable. But that felt okay. Yeah, no, once again, I'm not trying to sell you orthotics, but I am just saying that when you go as many decades as I have in a certain state, and then the vehicle, in this case me, slowly starts to slide into degradation, it's hard to sometimes feel that. But now that I have support underneath my arches on these hard, unyielding floors, I now feel how much my feet were just, they're just diving right into the floor and dragging my knees and everything with it. This is 205 with this grip. It's gonna be, we'll see what happens. Let's get my feet a little closer than that. Okay, that was good. So yeah, I've told my wife, I told my clients, because some of them have similar issues. A lot of people in Hawaii, shoes are kind of still a new thing here for a lot of us. But I just told her I'm just constantly amazed at how in the last 5 days, all of this suffering that I've been going through is just $10 insoles. I'm serious, like the best 10 bucks I've spent in, I can't remember when. I can't remember getting a quicker and more global improvement in my body for 10 bucks. It's crazy. Now, I do understand that in the short time I've been using them, obviously the force that was causing my inner ankles to swell and my outer knees to give out or to hurt on certain movements, that force has got to be going somewhere else, obviously. So another reason why I'm testing them in this way, and over the next few days, is to see where that stress ends up. Because it's no good if like my inner ankles are all hunky-dory and then my inner knee and my outer ankle start getting all fucked up. So we'll see, but I don't feel like that's gonna happen. I feel like now I'm able to align over my skeletal structure much better. And even doing this, because this, I can now say, oh, this is 225. Let me just shut the fuck up and let's see if we can do this first, and then we can talk some shit. All right, here we go. Okay. Whew, that felt pretty good. Where are you going, pretty mama? Okay. Oh yeah. That was almost, I don't know, my grip is not used to grabbing the bar out that wide. So yeah, we'll say my grip is weak out here. But we're doing an experiment today, so let's experiment. $245. Let's get real close, real close. I want my feet really close on this so that if they want to dive in on, and I don't really feel like I can with these arch supports here. but I'll certainly feel that. All right, 245. Let's give this a day in court. Here we go. It's another thing. Before I put these inserts into any of my shoes, I pulled my right hamstring up at the, the ischial tuberosity, right where it attaches to my ass, over a month ago. It wasn't a bad pull, but it was, for the time that's passed, it just wasn't healing. So, and I've been taking also BPC 157 and TB 500. But regardless, those peptides have definitely helped fix my joints, but of course they can't be expected to fix the misalignment of my joints. So, like the tolerance of my joints for heavier weights is definitely better. But I was still, so I could lift heavier weights. Like for me, this is already getting, this is 275, all right? I don't know about you, but for me, this is it's kind of heavy. So my joint tolerance for heavy loading is definitely better, but the pain I had in my body all day long, that didn't change. And as soon as I put these orthotics in, it did change. I don't care if that's cheating, because it's gonna give my body time to heal. All right, so, you know what? I'm gonna go into a more, we'll go narrow undergrip here, because I'm pretty sure that snatch grip with 275 for this guy's not happening. All right, here we go. Okay. I'm glad I went with a more conventional grip. In case you're wondering about the undergrip, when I do take a more conventional grip, unless I'm moving towards power cleans, I prefer a double undergrip, supinated. Number one, it allows me to externally rotate my humerus in my shoulder sockets, which opens up my chest, allows me to get that bell. I can also extend my spine much stronger than when I'm internally rotated, and creates that hump in my back. But besides that, every time I've had to do something in real life, like move a piece of furniture, move a person, I don't know, move something, I have never had to take an over grip on that thing. I tend to always have to grab like this, so functionally I like to do this. And then I'll wait till I finish this one to talk about how I don't really worry that much about popping my bicep, but let's do this first and make sure I don't pop my bicep. All right. Okay, so I know there's a lot of comments on videos that past videos, because I only hold the bar this way. If I go, I've done this for years. I've done it a long time. I've thus far never had a problem with my biceps. For me, I feel it's a safer grip. And because of the way I'm able to position my shoulder blades, because of the shoulder retraction and the improved spinal position, I don't end up having to armbar myself by trying to lock out by just leaning back and extending or overextending my lower back. That's what I feel actually causes a lot of the problems with people's biceps when they're using a mixed grip or a double under like what I'm doing here. Once again though, lest I talk any shit, this is probably as heavy as I'm gonna go. I have not. The last time I posted a video on the deadlift with 315, which might have been a few months ago, that was the last time I've tried this, so yeah, what the hell. We're doing an experiment today. Let's give this a fair go. All right. Ooh, that's a buzz. Okay. You know, if I'm being honest, this is normally in a narrow stance with just regular bare feet or with barefoot shoes on, this would be a no-go. Because I felt a little bit of the area, especially my left outer knee, but usually this gives out at 275, regardless of stance and grip. And being able to control the lowering part, because usually on the eccentric, that's when this would give out. Once again, I'm not trying to sell you on orthotics or arch supports or insoles, but for the chronic overuse injury that I've developed and my inner ankle tendons here and here have been overstretched and abused in that position for so long that my ankles are always swollen and they always hurt, and that's just affecting all my other joints upstream. I am using these orthotics. One other thing I noticed, everyone says that orthotics weaken your feet. I think that is incomplete, because now that if this is my big toe, sorry, just bear with me for a second. If this is my big toe and this is my arch, if my foot, this is the floor, if my foot pronates or collapses or rolls inward, my big toe cannot flex anymore. Now that I have this orthotic under this part right here, now when I walk, I have the space and the alignment. Instead of my toe being angled that way, it's now able to press straight down. So I'm not just riding an insole when I walk. Everything I do, even on this deadlift, now that my feet are aligned up here, I can press hard with my big toe, because I believe a lot of the integrity, the muscular integrity of my arch is formed off of my big toe, okay? So if I can now, instead of my feet being like this, they're like this, my big toes can now press straight down. Even as I'm walking towards the camera, I can now engage and press with my big toe much harder than when I was just wearing these shoes without the orthotics or walking around barefoot. And when I would try to, it would hurt this bunion part because my toes are still trying to do their job, but now they're pushing the wrong way while being bent this way, which causes my bunion to jut out. So bring the feet here. Now I can do this, and maybe this, because my right bunion just burns, okay? So anyway, if you are still here and you're just listening to me talk all this, then I really appreciate you. And if you have similar issues, I'm not gonna tell anyone, because I know there's this big debate about orthotics and them making your feet weak. I am starting to discuss, I was one of the #1 shit talkers of orthotics and arch support, but I was talking from a platform. I thought I was an expert just because I've gone my entire life without shoes on, and that I've learned I'm stupid. That in no way makes me an authority on orthotics, because now that I'm using them, I'm seeing a very, very real and meaningful utility and benefit of at least using them in measured doses. So as I go along, if things start to go, you know, like I said, if other things start showing up elsewhere, because the force had to go somewhere else, I will let you know. But right now, this test to me, I'm really stoked. I'm super happy that I was able to get from this very narrow grip 315, because for this old aging dude, that's a pretty good lift for me, especially I haven't done this in a long time. Anyway, I'll let you go. If you're still here, once again, love and aloha. I love you, and take care. Bye.